live. Nobody's gonna be here for a while. This is completely unexpected, so if nobody joins, that's okay. But I'll hang out for a bit, see if anyone happens to see, and otherwise, as promised, I'll just give you guys a little walkthrough of what's been going on with the projects, and you can always check this out later. So give you guys a moment. I'm gonna bet. Might be on my own because it's late and Friday night, so I'll get going. If anyone happens to join, I'll repeat myself, but I'll let you guys catch us in the morning most likely. So project updates as promised. In the garage right now, both the cars jacked up, CLK. Oh, two of you guys are here. Hi. Just getting started. I was saying nobody's probably gonna join, so I'll let you guys catch us on the flip side tomorrow. But as I was saying, both cars jacked up. Yo, what's going on, Mouse? CLK, I'm in the middle. Actually just got the O2 sensors, the female side, pulled up, and I was reading for 12 volt on them, and it appears that both of them are only reading 3 volts. So I think that answers our problem with the heater codes that were going on for those at the primaries. So I am going to decide on where I'm going to tap in a new 12 volt. That wire that was supplying 12 volt to the ECU, I have no idea how that works, how they were getting 12 volt from the engine side, or what way they wired it, whoever wired this car initially. But this is not the proper way to do it. So we bypassed that for the ECU, which is why the car can run. But I'm pretty sure wherever they tapped that 12 volt, they also tapped for the O2s, which is why the O2s died right after I got the ECU back from Josh and we got the car running. Then those codes popped up because those were never there before. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that's kind of a solution for that scenario. The C55, as you guys saw in the last episode, possibly got the pan out and the valve body out, and those look okay, but the mess that was underneath the car did not look okay. And most likely what I assume failed on the transmission is either the pump failed itself, or the pump seal failed and all the fluid shot out, because it almost looks like a rear main seal, like a really bad rear main seal, but it's obviously transmission fluid, not engine oil, that got all over the bottom of the car. So from talking with a few master techs, they said that that would be probably the most common, is a pump failed or the seal failed on the pump. So the automatic's coming out. I think we're gonna try to get it out tomorrow. We'll see. What's up, Paul? What's a red car? If you haven't checked it out, this is a Mars Red C55 AMG that we got shipped all the way over here from Texas, actually, with a suspected blown transmission, but we didn't know for sure. So what's up, Meg? So yeah, we kind of dove into it in the last episode on it, pulled the valve body, and just started trying to play detective on what the heck happened to it, because I was expecting myself, oh, it probably burst a line or got a hole in the pan or something, but bell housing was fine, pan was fine, everything was fine, the lines were fine. So I was like, okay, what happened here? And I never really dove into that problem very much, but I guess one of the few failure points on the 722.6 is because they're pretty bulletproof. But one of the few failures or common things is for the pump to fail or the pump seal to fail. So appreciate it. It definitely takes diligence. Yeah, I'm learning that more and more as I'm diving deeper into these things. I've just learned a lot in general. So yeah, it's definitely taken some devotion and a lot of late nights and thinking, but it's fun. I'm not gonna stop. So yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate you noticing though. I just started the next video on this car, and I'm also filming the video for this. For those that didn't hear at the beginning, we were trying to dive into why I was getting some O2 heater codes. Think we've got it figured out, hopefully. It was running good last time I took it out. I took it out after I got done recording the last update video on it, and I will say it absolutely rips. I was just kind of scared to do so on video just because we got no AFRs yet on it, and with the O2 codes, shouldn't really affect anything runnability, but yeah, I definitely got on it a few times off camera, and I was always kind of a naysayer, not a naysayer, but skeptical of how much faster an M113K would feel versus the like my C55 with the 6-speed. And I would say confidently, it's night and day. It's like this car is borderline scary fast, I would say. The C55 just feels like quick, fast, but yeah. Let's see. Sorry, I missed you guys. DCG trans would be sick. I'm not gonna lie, I looked at PMC to see what adapters they have. They do have some adapters for some BMW DCTs, but for this project in particular, I don't think it would make sense to go down that big of a rabbit hole with it. So CLK definitely needs LSD. That was one of the things listed like when I got this car. For those that don't know the story on this, somebody bought it back in like 2013 when it was still like super fresh. It's still under 100,000 miles right now, like 93,000 or 98,000, I can't remember, but somebody bought it like cherry at the time, probably paid like 15 grand for the M113K swap to be done, put like 40 grand into the car with all of this like stuff. It's got the coilovers, all this custom carbon stuff in the inside, everything to do the swap, etc. And on that detailed like spec sheet, it said that it had LSD. So I was super excited, but it doesn't. So yeah, in the future, I'd love to do that. Got any sources for subframe bushings? For 203s, or if it's 203s, I know Creative Steel is going to have them out in the next year or so. They don't yet, I don't believe. Hedgehog Tuning, I think, does. Kangaroo's team does. Who else? I think that's about it that I know of, at least. Powerflex has some stuff. My wife must be really cool to let you buy all these cars. Yeah, you're pretty cool. That's my wife right there, guys. Tell her thank you for letting us do this. I'm in the garage right now. She's like 10 feet away from me inside of the house. I thought it was pretty speedy, and then 112, 72.6 combo. Can't imagine that butt pucker when you floor that V8. Yeah, it was. I'm really excited to show you guys. I didn't have my GoPro hooked up, but I'm really excited to show you guys once I can get this thing all dialed in and get the GoPro inside the car, because it's amazing. That's what really like hooked me when I met up with Alex, who sold me the car. He was a cool dude, and we've kept in touch. But when he took off in second gear, that's when I was like, okay, like this car is a proper weapon. And now I get to feel that myself from the driver's seat. It's funny. Yeah, she is a trooper for sure. She's been through all types of adventures, my wife. Yeah, she's definitely got my back, so love her to the moon. Yeah, but red car, just threw in those air filters that we saw in the last video. That'll also be in the next video on it. I'm stopping by the junkyard tomorrow morning. I'll try to show you guys, actually. Let me get this out of the way. Also, shout out if anyone else has an engine builder. I think it's Paukratz. I don't know. Paukratz, I think that's what it is. So shout out if you guys are in the club. Also, let me take this key out of the CLK so I'm not draining the battery. Hui. But I was gonna show you guys in the engine bay on the C55, and let me grab my light. Hui. Running around. Oh my God, where do I leave all these things? Okay, here we go. I'm going to the junkyard tomorrow morning with plans to search for a few other things, but I'm going to try to find some M113 valve covers, because hopefully you guys can see that. But these things have corroded pretty bad. You can just definitely tell these things were never, I don't know. They might have been popped off at one point for some valve cover gaskets, but they're not in great shape, as well as the intake manifold. You can see some splitting right there. So it's further justification, guys. If you haven't or don't plan on doing so, you should plan on doing so, pulling your intake manifolds and your valve covers. And at very least, if you're not comfortable pulling apart the intake manifolds, which I got some videos on it that will help you, guide you through, and it's not that hard, to be honest, but if you're not comfortable doing it, at very least, like, sand them down a bit and put a coat of paint on them, some type of high heat paint, because with the mix of magnesium that these all have in them, it's just a matter of time. They're gonna peel apart like that. Doesn't really matter on your climate. Worst climates will speed it up, but from me having a bunch of these things now, they all do it to a certain extent. So yeah, that's something definitely that'll be on the list. This one wasn't as bad just because it's so coated in oil. It probably protected it a little bit, to be honest. But yeah, this one's pretty bad. So if I don't find some spares, I'll just grind it down and reuse them. But I'd like to start with a little fresher canvas than that. So yeah, M113 is definitely an awesome one. Oh, I see SLK. I would talk to the Kangaroos team. Out of everybody, they probably got something for you. There's also, like I said, Powerflex, and then what's the other one? Strong Flex. I think they're out of Poland, and I've got a bunch of bushings from them, like all the arm bushings for the C55 that I've just never gotten around to doing yet. But Zamir, what's up? Says, hey, thanks for showing that these cars aren't so complicated to work on and don't need expensive tools. Got 2 C55s, one running, one parts only. Trying to get a key made by Josh for it. Yeah, definitely hit up Josh. He is a whiz, and yeah, thank you for supporting and acknowledging, because these cars are definitely way simpler than people will lead on about. But that's a gift and a curse, or a blessing and a curse, whatever you want to call it, because that's what makes them so cheap, I think, because people get scared of them, or people that don't want to dive in or don't want to pay somebody that does know what they're doing to do all the work on them. You know, it's hard to handle for that situation for most people. So then they get thrown to us for a good deal. So yeah, it's cool. AMG call. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was, man, that took a long time to put together. That was a random idea I had back in like probably July. It was just, I always throw like random ideas in my notes on my phone. Ideas for videos, ideas for builds, like parts I want to get, etc. I'm sure you guys do the same thing. But yeah, that video was like a dream, and then started reaching out to people little by little. FCP Euro got on board, and I started reaching out to more and more buddies of mine. And then the last one, getting Alex from Legit Street Cars, was wild. So hopefully, I've talked about maybe someday making a road trip in the C55, and he said he'd be down to link up. And I really want him to drive the C55, because speaking probably on a lot of our behalfs, Alex is like, I don't know, he's just a cool person to have in this community. And he was one of the first ones that I was watching on YouTube that was doing all this Mercedes stuff, and helped me get comfortable going down the rabbit hole. And yeah, so it was cool to have him on board. And it was the person that I wanted for that last shot, because it's like, you know, it's like the cherry on top at the end of the video. So what'd you say? I am concerned about 2 O-ring seals in the timing cover on the M112. Yeah, those are definitely ones that if you got the motor out for any reason, or I think you can get the timing cover off in some cars with the motor still in, but definitely a difficult job. It's worth pulling the motors out though to do some of those like very critical seals, like that one on the front that separates the coolant and oil. And then there's also the oil pickup tube one that on most cars now is probably relatively not supple. So you guys, I'm sure, have seen like XF Motorsports when he found that problem, kind of made it known to the world with his M113K. Crazy build now, but at the time it was still in the E55. That oil pickup tube seal can be a bit of a scare, but I do plan on pulling out my C55 motor hopefully this winter and just kind of diving into it, resealing a bunch of stuff, and then kind of learn the process and use that on the other cars. So autocross my SLK55 and Dallas. Yeah, that sounds like good fun for sure. Rear tires 265, front's 245. yeah, that sounds like a good combo for the stock wheels. Um, I've learned more and more now, like, cause I have 255 square on the C55, and I've learned from looking at more and more like tire charts that skinnier is actually a little bit better as far as like grip driving. C55 still grips up plenty well on the 255s, but I'm pretty sure I could go down to like a 245 or 235 and probably get a little more handling. But I like a little bit of the extra sidewall just because our roads are some spots terrible up here. So, um, oh, thank you, Zamir. Yeah, I still watch legit street cars all the time. I love all cars, so I'm not just like Mercedes. That's just what I happen to be into for my own cars, but I love all types of stuff. So seeing where he started at, like when I first started watching him, he had like no videos, hardly any, and seeing the whole trajectory, and now he's at a million plus subscribers is wild. So very cool. He deserves it. Definitely busts his ass, and puts in the time and the work as we see in the videos. But yeah, thanks for checking out Vlogmas. Hopefully it's not boring for you. That was definitely a challenge. Trying to get a video every day while working and working out in the elements at the time because I didn't have a garage yet. That was wild. So I plan on doing it again this year, and I'm gonna try to step it up, see what we can do. So M1430 has 190 plus, and my CLK 500 just went over 200. So yeah, seals. Yeah, I think like I definitely recommend products like the Liqui Moly Motor Oil Saver and anything that will help rejuvenate the seals a little bit. It's definitely not like a cure-all, but I think it definitely helps. Um, I would I would try something like that for the time being until you can throw a couple cans in, every other oil change, and hopefully it'll help. There's also that stuff, I think it's called like AT205 or something, that's supposed to be really good for rejuvenating seals that you could try for the time being. But I think the most important part is driving them regularly and changing the fluids ahead of time or on time. So that'll kind of give you the best bet, because I'm sure there's plenty of 300K M112s, M113s that have never been popped open that are going just fine. So I try not to think about it too much, but it's definitely, when I pull the motors out, it's definitely something I'll do. Oh, you have aftermarket NQ wheels. I got you. Door seals, window seals, cars in Arizona. I know where I can get new seals. I would go with whatever cheapest MB wholesale site you can get them off of. I tried, which I know to avoid Euro parts for the most part. Some things you can get away with from them, but for the most part, like any integral parts, don't recommend Euro. But I tried to get, just because they were like a quarter of the price, door seals from them for the C36. They were decent. I only put on one so far, and it fit okay. It's a little more snug than it should be, I feel like. So I would just go OEM, since they're kind of a one-time thing you'll ever do. I mean, they're probably going to last another 100,000, 200,000 miles. So there's actually a really good wholesaler in Texas, MB Part Source. I think they're out of Laredo. No, I don't know. I think it is somewhere. But anyways, MB Part Source is the one I've been using the most lately. And then I also use MB OEM Parts because they have free shipping over $100 if you use the code 500E promo, which I know from being on 500E board. And then, so I was thinking I would take them apart. Seals okay-ish, yeah. Yeah, like, you just gotta keep up on the fluids and just drive them. I feel bad lately because my C50, the silver C55 has been sitting outside, and I've tried to drive it at least once a week, but yeah, I feel bad I'm not driving it more than that, to be honest. It needs to be driven. But with the small battery in it, I always got to charge it, keep it charged, and yeah, it becomes kind of a hassle. So I just daily drive the C36 right now, and it's super fun and comfortable. So no complaints, but Vlogmas is awesome. I like the intro a lot, and your son looking in the GoPro is always fun. Yeah. Yeah, the intro was fun to make. And my son, man, he turned 4 this summer. And I love looking back. That's like one of my favorite parts about making all these videos, is the little cameos that I see from my wife and son. because it's not often, but like every once in a while, I know certain videos where my son was super little and like just doing something funny on camera. So it's super cool as a dad to look back, kind of like as home movies in a way, on those type of memories. So yeah, it's fun. Some weather strips using the 303 rubber. Yeah. I like to use like silicone sprays or stuff like that, like the 303 rubber, a rejuvenator type products are really good to do every once in a while. And even just wiping them down and cleaning them with like a non-abrasive like degreaser stuff, any mild degreaser, just wiping them down is good, because in reality, the things that eat away rubber or metal or any type of corrosion that is caused by debris and dirt and dust collecting and then combining with some type of moisture or fluid or stuff, and that's what really eats away at stuff. And then the UV protectant, if you're in a place like you said the car was in Arizona before, it's going to get beat by the sun. So this car, being in Texas, definitely has some areas that got beat down by the sun. Overall, the seals are still in pretty good shape, but definitely going to be trying to rejuvenate these a bit. Like you see, this top strip is a bit faded. Some of this is just dirty, but sunroof seal is not bad in this car actually. But things like the oxidization of the bumpers, you can see a bunch of, well, not so much on the front bumper actually, but the rear, all this on the trunk lip spoiler, and then bottom clear coat on the rear bumper, which kind of a common problem on a lot of 203s. Even my silver C55 has some oxidization of the clear coat on the rear bumper. So it's not just a hot weather thing or a 203, or not just a Mars Red thing. It's a 203 thing in general, and I guess probably all Mercedes at that time. But Carson's garage undercover now. Yeah. Yep. I never thought I'd see the day where I wasn't driving my cars all the time, but having enough of them now, I kind of have to pick and choose. Once they're all up and running, hopefully I can pick a different car for each day of the week and then have some fun before I probably sell a few, but and move on to the next projects. But yeah, for now, the C36, ML55 get driven every day. When I get the 201 swapped, that will probably be the next daily driver, and I'll put the C36 back to be a temporary weekend car, because it's honestly so nice and original. I feel kind of bad daily driving it, but at the same time, I'm like, it's a car, it should be used. So polish oxidation. Now, this stuff might be a little too far gone to polish, unfortunately, but I think I'll be able to get away with possibly some of it. I could probably just sand down the clear coat and respray clear, but most likely I'll just repaint them completely. So I've painted plenty of bumpers in my day. I think I can get these ones pretty good. And luckily, the cans of Mars Red that I've seen online seem to be a pretty good match, so I think we'll be okay. Mars Red is definitely unique, but it's not like metallic or anything, so it's not like crazy hard to match. So I'll either get a can of it or I'll take it to my buddy's shop and have them whip up a couple cans of matched paint. So I wish I could just polish it out. It's definitely saved me some time, but overall I can't complain too much. I got it for such a good deal, and it has such good bones still that I'm pretty happy with it. It's crazy to have a stock C55 again. I never thought I would have another one, to be honest, but it just kind of fell into my hands, and it's going to be really cool to like have this one up and running again and do some comparison videos with this and my other silver one that's like so heavily modified at this point, and just see how they compare. It's going to be nostalgic, I think, to get back into a stock one. So looking to upgrade to 6-pot calipers and get coilovers for track setup. Yeah, somebody just hit me up for some 6-pots today. They had a good deal on them, and it was tempting, but I don't really feel the need on the Mars Red C55, and the CLK's already got them. The C55's already got them. I thought about picking them up for the 201, but you got to do some custom stuff to get them to fit on the 201. So I don't know if I'm going to go for them, but we'll see. Coilover is definitely worth it, though. It's cool when I found Jig Jacks in your channel. Confirmed my suspicion of the manual trans-bolting to V8s. Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me, to be honest. I found Dimitri first on the forums on MB World back when it was active, and found him, and I was like reading through all his posts, and then I realized, oh, he's in Washington too at the time. He's back in California now, but hit him up, and we ended up on a phone call, talked for like an hour, and then long story short, we became good buddies, and we're still good friends to this day. But yeah, he was the one that showed me it was possible. I drove over to his house after we talked, and yeah, it just all kind of spiraled from there. That was literally 3 or 4 years ago in like July. We met up once. I went back to his house one more time, and right after that time, I went home that day and started collecting parts for the manual swap on the C55. And then as I was doing that, that's when I discovered Alex as well, who's now a really good friend as well. Jig Jacks, Alex, and we started talking, and yeah, it all spiraled from there. So, yo, I'm assuming that's one of my students, Mr. Anderson. What up, howdy? So yeah, and no problem for all the info. I'm happy to share it. That's why I do this. I love sharing all the info with you guys, because I feel guilty if I don't, because I learned so much off the internet myself, and from all the friends that I've made that also are doing all this stuff, that share so much with me. I feel not obligated, but I just feel like it's the right thing to do, to share with you guys and share as much as I can. So reading through you guys, hold on. My CLK did great. Laguna Seca, man, I want to go there. My neighbor just went not too long ago, so I got to catch up with him and ask him about it. If my parts only C55's engine works, what do you think would be a good car to put it into? E420, 190E. That's a good question. Matt Quick Classics just put a M113 into a 190, and it's definitely some work. There's going to be some fabrication involved. I honestly thought about it. You guys are going to get a Benzin on a budget update, by the way, soon. I'm sorry it's taking so long, but I believe we're going to be on episode 7. It'll come this week, hopefully, which should mean good news. Fingers crossed, because I don't know yet. But when I really didn't know yet, I was considering getting an M113 and trying to do the 190E, but I don't think my fabrication's on that level yet, guys. So the E420, it would probably be easier to fit into. 124 definitely got a little more space. If you're talking 124, you could be talking 210. But otherwise, another really cool swap for a C55 engine was NorCal AMG. I forget, his friend did it. Put it into a regular 203 and then swapped on a CLK front end, which is essentially what a C55 is. So you basically get all the front assembly for a CLK and then bolt that up to a 203, and you have a, back in the day for Honda culture, we would call things like, if you swap the Type R motor into a regular, coupe or hatch, it would be called a poor man's Type R. So I guess you could call that a poor man's AMG, or a poor man's C55, whatever you want to call it, but that would be a really cool one. With the 6 pots, the P30 calipers or not. The ones that somebody hit me up about, or just in general? I think they are P30 cars that came with them, but I don't know for sure. There's 2 different versions. So one that uses the 345 millimeter disc, and one that uses a 360. I think that's what it is. So there's 2. What are your thoughts on M155? Either converted to rear-wheel drive or 6 speeds? Yeah, Dave, you're speaking my language. I've thought about it. There's somebody, they never followed up with me, but they were like on the brink of completing a manual swap for an M155. I believe they're over in Europe, but I never got a follow-up from them. But it's definitely doable, because the 163 came in manual overseas. All you gotta do is convert to rear-wheel drive, which essentially you're just, unhooking the front transfer case, and just letting them free spin. So in theory, it should be workable. The ECU is easy to trick. So I think it'd be pretty sick. If my wife wasn't daily driving the ML55, or if we end up getting another one someday, which I've thought about as well, I would love to try the 6-speed swap one, or we got the compressor. I've thought about finding another one, throwing the compressor on it and converting to rear wheel drive. That would be cool because I don't know what we're doing with that compressor yet. And if anything, I might just rebuild it and use it as a spare for the CLK. So the person I hit up said that they were off of just a CLK. So I assume they're probably the ones that came with the 345 millimeter disc. I don't think they were P30. I don't think. 190. Yeah, definitely check out Quick Classics. I'm sure he'll have some updates on it. He has it on his Instagram, but the 190 that he put the M113 in, the headers that he built are sick. And overall, I think that's going to be a super cool build that he's doing. And he's trying to put some pieces together so he can kind of kit them apart, or kit them together, I guess. Fun to drive or cool in theory. I think it would be fun to drive. I know like the Porsche Cayennes came manual, and they're very similar kind of shape and size. And from videos I've seen of people driving those with the manual, they seem like pretty fun to do. And even the like the what are they, the X3s or X5s had a few manual options, and those also seem like a lot of fun to drive. So I think it'd be cool. L270 diesel over in Europe, yeah, 270. And then there's a few other diesel variants that I think had manuals, and who knows what else they probably put over there. So yeah, Paul, either one, I think the 345s or 360s are good, but in reality, like that's probably, in my opinion, the only aesthetic mod I ever did to the C55 for the most part. Like the 6-spots are awesome, and the only reason I got them was because I got them for a crazy steal off of wholesale. Like I got the whole kit for the front for like $1,000, which is just crazy. Brand new, old stock from a wholesaler. But otherwise, I never planned on doing that mod because the 4-pots are plenty capable, to be honest. So if you're just using the car for autocross here and there, 4-pots are plenty good if you get a good track pad in it and good discs. You can even try to find non-slotted, non-drilled discs because those last a little longer and usually a little cheaper. So that's interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, it probably was. Like you're saying, benchmark for the Cayenne. It's pretty, like the 163 is so slept on as far as history in auto manufacturing goes. Like look at all the crazy SUVs you see nowadays and the crossovers and all that. That's like everything people drive nowadays. And that chassis really sparked that whole thing. So it's an impressive build for that era. And it got made fun of a lot, the Alabama Slammer and all this stuff for not being put together with the most quality interior wise, but they're phenomenal cars. And being body on frame, they're essentially a baby G-Wagon, and I don't think we're ever going to let go of our ML55. It's too good. Samir, zero fab skills as of now. Yeah, like I got some, but I don't think I'm at the level yet where I can pull off a swap like that. I could if I had like a proper shop with a lift and tools and some people to help me out, but doing this on my own with a garage and basic hand tools and jacks and jack stands, I don't know. It'd probably take me a while. ML400 V8 turbo diesel, not sure on trans option though. Interesting. Is that a 163 or is that 164? 164. Yeah, I think. Oh, it is 163. Interesting. Is that a yeah, turbo diesel? You say, yeah, I thought so. That's such a crazy engine. A 400 V8 turbo diesel. It's so weird. Crazy. That would be a fun one to experience, I'm sure. Probably very torquey down low. What else? Updates for you guys. Like I said, Ben's on a Budget will be back soon. The ECU is returning tomorrow, and we'll dive into that once I get into the episode. But yeah, I'll leave it there. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but hopefully this week we'll have an update for that, the 190 and the C203 situation. Other things besides that, C36, I'll show you guys actually. I am doing some exhaust work on it this week, or actually I found the people that used to do my exhaust work that left their old shop, and I had no idea where they went, and I didn't trust anybody to touch the cars for a good price and doing good work. So I just kind of avoided exhaust work for a long time. But I found them again and took the C36 over there this past week and let them look it over, and we got a plan for switching up the exhaust a little bit. So let me show you guys. I'll flip the camera around real quick. Classic washer and dryer workbench, you guys. But yeah, these are Flowmaster. I think they're 200 or 300 cell metallic cats, if I can get this out of the box. And these are, yeah, just metallic cats. I think they're 2¼ inch. So I actually bought these originally for the C55 way long ago to put on the primaries, but I ditched that idea after I deleted the secondaries, just because it does fine with the setup now. But we're essentially going to take out the stock cats that are on the C36 and do a new like Y-pipe setup. I'm going to try to do a V-band setup. So I got a couple V-bands we're going to run, and I might even delete the center resonator and just do like a center section with the two of those high flow metallic cats, and then make it like a removable center section, because right now there's only one or there's two removable spots, but it still keeps a big portion by the transmission. And if we do end up manual swapping that thing in the future, I want to have the exhaust as much out of the way as possible. So love you too, Genome. Happy Friday. What you got? Video I seen through glass last week had details about the ML during a Porsche tour in Germany. Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, I think Porsche and Mercedes have a little bit closer relationship than people would think, because with Mercedes throwing them the lob back in the 90s when Porsche was kind of struggling, and them making the deal to put the 124 500s on the assembly line. I feel like ever since then, they probably have like close ties. I'm sure in some regards, like they all probably cross-pollinate. It'd be hard not to. They're so close within Germany to each other, all of those manufacturers. I'm sure they cross-pollinate in all different types of ways, and they have employees jumping from different company in different roles. So, but that's super cool to hear. I'll have to look for that video. Looking at 163 in Europe options because I tow my S30. Oh yeah, yeah. 430 engine been doing fine, but a diesel, yeah, diesel would be great for what you're using it for sure. ML55, that was one video I never got to do before we sold the ML63, but I wanted to make a video with both MLs having trailers on them, and then trailering two of the other cars like the E420 and the C55 or something. But sadly, but bye to the E420, bye to the ML63. But I thought that would have been a cool thumbnail and video to make, like driving all of them out. Oh, Dan, you're getting married, man. Congratulations. Any advice? The basic things that we were told by our elders when my wife and I got married was never go to sleep angry at each other. Always communicate. Tell each other you love each other before you fall asleep, things like that. And overall, just communication, man. Keep being yourselves. Keep being the same people that got you there. So Paul said, don't Genome, best advice you'll get. I will say, if you find the right person, go for it. So usually that just comes down to your instincts. So trust your instincts. Yeah, Mig, I was sad I didn't get to do that. I really wanted to do that. I was like, man, that'd be super cool to take them out to the Ridge out here. If you guys know the Ridge Motorsports Park, it's a pretty cool track, pretty like nationally known track in Washington. Probably the only one. There's a few others, but that's like the nationally known one, besides Evergreen Speedway for drift events, stuff like that. But I still plan on doing that, just not with both MLs now. I'll do the M155 towing the C55 out there at some point once I get a chance. I say it every summer, and then every summer I get busy with projects, and yeah, Paul not playing around, man. Hey, everyone goes through different experiences, so I know, you know, probably not the right channel for that, but different friends have had different experiences. Different coworkers I have had different experiences. Some people tell you don't do it. Some people tell you do it. Thankfully, I'm on the boat of do it. So that's credit to my wife. Yeah, I got to run a little bit too, but yeah, drive hard as well. Be safe. Thanks for joining in. It was a random live for you guys, but I promised you guys earlier in the poll and saw you guys had responded, so I didn't want to ditch you guys. I'll try to get a video out either this weekend, Sunday, or Monday at the latest. We'll get back on schedule Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week. Definitely got a handful of videos that will be ready by then. I just didn't have anything ready for today because I was waiting on some parts and stuff like that. So I will be back maybe Sunday, maybe Monday. I'll catch you guys. Maybe if you guys are on Instagram with me, I'll try to update you guys. I'm going to the pick and pull in the morning. Got a few things I'm trying to grab, so I'll update you guys with that. And then, like I said, the ECU is on the way back for the C203, the M111 coupe. So we got to dive in more to that. So stay tuned. But thanks for joining me. I'm going to head back inside now, go get some food, get cleaned up, go play some Super Mario with my son, hang out with my wife, and enjoy the rest of Friday night. But much love to all you guys. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for always supporting and joining in. And yeah, doesn't matter, man. We're gonna keep this rolling and enjoy what we're doing here. So keep driving, enjoy your weekends if I don't hear from you guys before then. And yeah, peace, enjoy. See you guys.